So, hello guys, welcome to this somewhat of a different Warframe episode. Where, yes, you can see Python again in front of me. And I've basically turned my attention again to an old script I had written back in God knows when. I think it was last year or 2 years ago. Was it 2 years already? Could be, I don't know. Which this script basically just it basically connects to the API of Warframe Market, which, as a disclaimer, and you can take a look over here, that I did not include the API address here. Granted, the API address is pretty much in a document on the internet. I think it was uploaded by the curators of the Warframe Market, but don't quote me on that. But I don't want to be a catalyst that sort of, spreads a website's API or some shit. So I took it out for now, and I will reinsert the API address once I'm done showing the code. So basically this accesses the API of the site and brings back the information about the prices, which it's something that's done mainly it's done on Twitter for sentiment analysis, which brings tweet information like the tweet itself, the text, the number of reactions it has, or whatever the fuck Twitter does. I don't have Twitters and I don't care. And it's usually analyzed as, a test, a dummy data for machine learning, which was what the original intention for this project, but it's kinda, the machine learning part is not really up to speed and barely working, so I decided to hold off on that and do another video once I have it figured out, basically. So anyway, this requests the data from the API of the website, and particularly it requests the median price because it's generally the most reliable. It is the most reliable because, for example, as you can see here, I looked up a couple of arcanes, and some people, I don't know why, but list the arcanes 10 times the price that they are. I think because they want to sell full sets, so they just label one arcane as with the price of 10. But it makes everything so fucking confusing. But anyway, the medium, there are a lot of prices. There are a lot of statistics you can parse out of that. I think there was the median, which I am taking here. The median is basically the center of the price range, how it varies. There is the average and a long-term running average. There are the candles, obviously the variance of how the prices are distributed. There's something else, it has a weird name, I don't know what that is really, but it's there. And there was something else, I'm sure. Oh yeah, the minimum and maximum price, closing at opening price for each day, and I think that's it. And obviously, and name. You get my point. So, you just select the data that you want. I personally selected the one for the running 90 days because this program has been off for quite a while now, and it wasn't running, so it wasn't crawling the web for data. So I wanted something to actually show. So yeah, this basically fetches the data, puts it in arrays, and then the arrays are then saved to CSV files, as you can see by this huge ass list here that I obtained through testing. Yeah, and then that was the fetch function. Fetch, F-E-T-C-H, because I know my accent can sound a little weird. And then there's the update function. This basically looks at what you asked for, checks if you already have something related, and then just brings what you don't have, not the entire thing. So makes it a little bit more efficient, in quotation marks. It's not really that much efficient because, as I don't know if you guys know, but I'm not actually a programmer, nor does my experience relate to computer science in any way, shape or form. I'm a mathematician, so make of it what you want. And don't judge my crappy code. My crappy disorganized code, that is. Yeah, basically, and it sort of appends the files with new data. That's basically what it does. And then there's the initialize function. This basically sort of juggles between fetch and update to see what's suitable for the case you present to it. And then there's a random plot function that, you know, allows me to plot things, not have to look at the fucking numbers all day. Just to give you an idea, this is how the data is stored. The first column is the median, I believe. The second one is the volume of trades, which is the, how should I say, the number of trades that were made that day of the item. For example, in this case, on the 13th of December, which is, yes, on the 13th of December, 35 Arcane Prime Sets were traded. Yeah, so the third column is the, this variable is not obtained from the API itself, but is the product of these two. Basically, you have the median price, which is sort of an average, in quotation marks. It's not really an average, actually it's far away from the average, but, well, it's good enough, I guess. So you have a rough estimate of how much each item was selling for, and the number of trades that occurred, so you can calculate the amount of wealth that was shifted around due to this item, which for example for the Arcane Prime Sets, it was sold for almost 500 platinum, Jesus fucking Christ, and there were 35 trades, which means that around 17,000 platinum was traded on just Arcane Prime Sets. Dear God, you people are crazy. Anyway, so yeah, that's basically the data parsed, and then the script basically just runs the initialize function and then just extracts from the data files that you collect to plot them. And then there's the rest of the crap that doesn't work, that's commented out. So I will put in the API address once again, and we'll take this baby out for a spin, shall we? Alright, so we're back, and now the API is back in place. And the functions are closed, just to make sure that the API address is available on the web, like I've already said, so if you want to find it, go look for it yourself. I'm not gonna give it to you. So, yeah, let's search for an item. In honor of the recent drama regarding the raids and arcanes, which I personally believe the raids should stay, but that's not the topic of this video, so I won't go into that. Let's take a look at Arcane Energize. And this will... it's already here, so it will basically just update, see if it has anything new on the site, and then basically plot it for us. I'll close that just to not have... yeah, so let's run this. Hopefully it doesn't crash on me, which would be very embarrassing. Give it figuring some shit out. Okay. We have liftoff, fetching complete, and here is the plot for Arcane Energize, which basically halved the price ever since the removal of the raids was announced. Well, no, it actually went to 3/4 of the price and then half the price when the Arcanes became an Eidolon drop. So, I thank the devs for making my account worth 10% of what it used to. So, now it will plot the volume of trades, which obviously, I mean, the price halved, so people are gonna buy more. So yeah, that's how it works, and there's more supply of it. And, you know, the demand I think stayed the same, but whatever. And this is the wealth flux, which, you know, surprisingly it actually increased, despite the the complaints. So, you know, whatever. Alright, so let's look at another victim of this event. Let's take a look at Arcane Grace. So, fetching complete. So yeah, you know, Arcane Grace didn't actually get hit that much by it. Granted, still half the price, but it wasn't that expensive, so the loss is less. In this case, it was only by 8 platinum. For Arcane Energize, it was by 200 or something, I don't remember. Obviously, this is much cheaper, so the volume is gonna skyrocket a bit more. And yeah, that makes a lot more sense that the net flux would go up, so make of it what you will. So yeah, let's take a look at another meme of the game and see how its price plummeted. I know that it plummeted because I looked at it, so I'm sorry for the spoilers, but it's actually quite funny, some of these, how the price actually drops from 8,000 to fucking 4,000, which is also another 50% dump, and it's, dare I say, it's still going down? Yeah, it's not gonna recover from this, clearly, because, you know, there are fucking Rivens, and Maiming Strike, it's not that useful, apart from spin to an Atarax or some shit, you know. Don't buy Maiming Strikes, just don't. They're not really worth your time. Buy a Riven instead, which, depending on the weapon, could be much stronger. And this is the volume. Obviously, this is, I think, the time when the Acolytes came. Yeah, sadly, this is not the correct time axis plotted over here, because there's an issue that I have to resolve with that. Yeah, this is where the Acolytes came, and everyone wanted Maiming Strike. And everyone was bitching because it had a low drop rate, like it always had, but now, you know, they didn't have it. Let's try and not be bitter. And yeah, this is the... Dear God, that's a lot of platinum. 400,000 platinum were shifted around because of Maiming Strike that day. So let's take a look at a cousin of Maiming Strike and show what a recovering market actually looks like. Argon Scope. Alright. Yes, so this is what a recovering market looks like. So, you know, it had a dip, like it should, because there was a... It was readily available at that point, and okay, it continued to drop until, you know, the hype went away. But now it's, as you can see here, it's kind of recovering actually. So we'll just have to keep an eye out on that too. And as you can see, it's sort of the same slope as, well, I say slope, but sort of the same ascension. No, appreciation. You know, one of those words that it had up here, roughly. So, you know, there's hope for Argon Scope. Thank God, because I have, I think, 5 of those. And yeah, the same deal as with Maiming Strike, and it actually sort of increased the market, even though it was rising again. But it has a dip here, so that may be something to pay attention to. And obviously the flux. Oh, well, the flux remained roughly constant actually, which is good. Apart from a few anomaly shits over there. Now, oh yeah, let's take a look at the legend itself to see how a very strange market behaves. And believe me when I tell you that this is gonna look very strange, because as you can see here, it sort of had, dare I say, actually very consistent trades over here and consistent prices, and then it became very unstable at some point. Also, I don't know who would buy it for this much, but anyway. Now let's take a look at the volumes, because this is interesting. You can see random spikes of 2, 2, 12, 2, that's 2, 4. I think this is 1 actually over here, but anyway, there's some 2s over here again. That's a 10. That's a lot of moving around that this mod does. And I don't know the exact number of prime chambers there are in the game, but if these were all distinct, that would be, I don't know, that would be weird. I don't want to pass any judgment, but that's just fucking weird. And now on to the flux. Which, you know, that's fucking prime chamber, so what would you expect? Yeah. So, let's see, shotgun Riven mods. What's the name? Shotgun Riven mod. Veiled. And this what actually surprised me, because I didn't know shotgun Riven mods were getting this expensive, especially Veiled. But well, that's a lot of fucking platinum. Last time I traded one was, I think, more than 90 days ago, because it wasn't 90 platinum. So, you know. And there's a very curious dip over there, which is odd. I don't think that there were any events that would lead to this dip, but anyway, this is the volume. Not much are being traded. I think there's a the drop chances of these has gone down. They've been reduced, I think, because, or people are getting extremely unlucky, because there's also very low volume here, and the net worth is actually getting very high. So, you know. And now let's take a look at another hot topic. No pun intended. Which is not gonna surprise you. But actually looks like crap, and the funny thing is it's almost down to 1/5 of its original value, and there's no sign of it stopping anytime soon. So yeah, the Ember market has crashed, and hard. So yeah, poor Ember. But anyway, I don't care. I don't play her much, and so at least there was a big jump in trace. But this, to be fair, this could be attributed to the fact that Ember is unvaulted at the moment. So we'll just have to see how the prices evolve after she's revolted after she's vaulted again. And there's actually a spike in, because you know that's the thing. The higher the price of the item, the less people are gonna bother with it, especially prime frames, because why, you know? So yeah, let's maybe look at something that I don't have already here. Say, oh yeah, I didn't update the Frost Prime one today, so let's take this as an opportunity to show off the script. Yeah, well, makes sense. Frost is currently unvaulted, and he was a Twitch drop. I think still is. Is he still? Which could explain the very flat prices. And of course, why is there a spike over here, which is, it's actually quite curious. Why about 153 sets were, what's that, 154 sets were traded? And of course, you know, the usual. And just, this is just a check, so I make sure that, okay, yes, okay, so it's updating as it should, because I had an issue earlier. So let's look at something that I don't have over there that has to actually fetch the entire dataset. I don't know. Gauss mag helmet. These are the arcane helmets that I believe should make a return sometime in the future, please. Because the prices, I actually looked up the Pendragon and the Rhino one, what's it called? The Vanguard. The prices are actually ridiculous. So yeah, no safe found, fetching. This one's not that out of the ordinary. I doubt there are any trades. Yeah, barely 2 trades a day on average, so there's that, and the flux is very low as well. Yeah, let's take a look at the Vanguard. Vanguard Rhino helmet. Because this thing is fucking expensive. Yeah. It costs more than Maiming Strike did before the Acolytes came, so, you know, something to look into. And this is actually very limited in supply, because the Acolytes come from time to time, but these will probably never return. Yeah. I don't think I have a lot of these. Maybe have a Banshee one from back in the day, but meh. Yeah, and the volume. Well, this is actually traded quite a lot here. Pretty healthy market, although unsustainable because it's limited in supply, obviously. Yeah, you know. Make of it what you will, like I've been saying, you know? Yeah, so that's pretty much it. So maybe in the future I'm gonna run a script that updates all of these in one go rather than have to type them individually. Maybe type only the one for plotting, and maybe someday I'll actually fucking figure out how to deal with this neural network. Yeah, because it was giving me quite a lot of trouble. Well, it wasn't, but then I changed some stuff and then it started to give me trouble again, so, you know. Whatever. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time, I guess. Bye.